Your Excellency, Dr. Aloni, representing the UN in Zimbabwe, and your colleagues, the Deputy Minister of Local Government and Public Works, our Permanent Secretary, Chief Directors and Directors here present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Zimbabwe, like any other country in the SADC region, is grappling with the impact of the 2023-2024 El Nino-induced drought. Recognizing the impact of the drought and gravity of the situation, a state of disaster was declared by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in all the country's 10 provinces to enable implementation of extraordinary measures to ameliorate the impact of the drought on our vulnerable citizenry. The declaration is effective from 28 March 2024 and shall be extended until the next good harvest. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Zimbabwe Livelihood Assessment Committee, ZIMLAC, Raw Livelihood Assessment is underway to estimate the food insecure population. The urban livelihood assessment was completed, approved by Cabinet, and disseminated with 35% of the urban population being food insecure. Preliminary indications are that an estimated 9 million people will be food insecure and require food assistance until March 2025. This figure covers both the urban and rural population. It is critical, therefore, to support these vulnerable households along with those directly affected by the drought. This appeal provides all sector requirements that government and partners ought to prioritize. In response to the El Nino drought, government has prioritized the following intervention strategies, among others. 1. School feeding programs, assistance for the labor-constrained households, food and cash assets, Zundera Mambo Ispala Senkosi, irrigation development including promotion of resilient agriculture infrastructure, promotion of livelihood projects such as community fisheries schemes, village business units, school business units, youth business units, and irrigation scheme business units, promotion of agriculture mechanization for medium and large-scale farmers, promote conservation agriculture, and promotion of water, sanitation and hygiene wash interventions. The humanitarian appeal focuses on immediate needs, recovery and resilience building of the affected populace. In this stride, there is a moral obligation and an agency for the international community to lend a hand for life-saving support to those most in need. We are thankful to the development and humanitarian partners for the generous support to date. Overall, estimated requirements for the interventions by all sectors of the economy is targeted at $3.3 billion. It is worth noting that government embraced the sovereign drought risk insurance with Africa Risk Capacity, ARC, with the participation of 2 replica partners, namely World Food Programme and START Network. Given the magnitude of the drought, the government and the replica partners are set to receive an amount of $31,896,784 in payouts. In addition, the government embraced the anticipatory action and focus-based financing as ways to mitigate the impacts of El Nino-induced drought and the overall climate-induced hazards. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, the government and the humanitarian partners are committed to ensuring that the humanitarian principles of impartiality, neutrality, independence, and humanity are respected in implementing the activities in the humanitarian appeal. The government of the Republic of Zimbabwe and the UN are committed to further strengthening our partnerships for an effective and efficient delivery of humanitarian assistance under an overall promise to leave no one and no place behind. The intervention will be conducted within the disaster risk management coordination architecture, which spans from community and traditional leadership up to the cabinet level, with a view to avoid duplication of interventions by all sectors and partners. We appeal for the international community's continued generous support. I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Deputy Minister, the PS, members of the media that are present here, my colleagues from the UN system, those that are present here, and those that are not present but might be having a look at this event very soon. Friends and colleagues, the government of Zimbabwe has indicated that due to the El Nino-induced drought in Zimbabwe, an estimated 9 million people will be food insecure and require food assistance until March 2025, as already stated by the Honorable Minister. Since December 2023, long dry spells and high temperatures, coupled with poor rainfall performance, negatively impacted crop and livestock productions. Estimates for the 2023-2024 crop season indicate that about 700,000 metric tons of maize out of an annual requirement of 2.2 million metric tons have been harvested. More than 1.4 million cattle risk facing deteriorating body conditions or starving due to lack of food, pasture, and water. The impact of El Nino have negatively affected local production with an estimate of a 52% shortfall. According to the Crop, Livestock and Fisheries Assessment Report by the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries and Rural Development, Zimbabwe's crop production was negatively affected, with 40% of maize crop classified as poor and 60% as a write-off. As cattle herds converge in search of forage and water, livestock diseases have increased. The livestock sector risks being seriously affected in the coming winter season between June and October due to very poor pasture quality and lack of drinking water. To respond to this situation, the flash appeal requires $429.3 million for humanitarian partners to assist close to 3.1 million people and complementing government's efforts and appeal. The appeal aims to mobilize humanitarian action to complement government's own relief efforts. All efforts have been made to ensure that this appeal is prioritized and principled, and we are confident that the activities planned are the most urgently needed to deliver immediate relief to the people who need it most. In implementing this appeal, the UN and humanitarian partners are committed to ensuring that the humanitarian principles of impartiality, neutrality, independence, and humanity are fully respected, as already alluded to by His Honorable Minister. In issuing this appeal, we are conscious that humanitarian assistance is not a long-term solution to the recurrent climatic shocks that continue to increase in frequency and intensity in Zimbabwe and across the Southern African region. With the global climate crisis impacting Zimbabwe, intensive efforts are required to ensure that people across the country can withstand the growing climatic shock, as well as tackle inequality and poverty, as highlighted in the country's national resilience strategy. The UN and its partners are fully committed to supporting the government to build resilience and implement climate resilience development initiatives, while longer-term efforts to address these extremely complex challenges are vital. We face today with an urgent need to act swiftly to save lives and livelihoods of those whose crops and livestock have been upended by El Nino drought. We therefore call on the international community to show solidarity with the people of Zimbabwe at this extremely challenging time and to stand with us as we step up our response to this devastating event. We appeal for the international community's continued general support to ensure that communities severely impacted by El Nino can cope and recover from it and also engage in transformative change. And I want to appreciate the proactive effort by the government of Zimbabwe, especially the declaration of the national disaster by His Excellency, the President, and also follow-up action through SADC to bring the urgent needs of Zimbabwe to the attention of people across the globe. We know this is a difficult period with competing demands on the global economy, but it's also time for us to ask for support to the affected population of Zimbabwe. I have been privileged to travel through the affected areas of the El Nino in Zimbabwe. I can tell the international community that what I saw was devastating. I drove through the breadbasket of Zimbabwe. Besides the few irrigated farms I came across, all the rain-fed crop was just withered maize crop standing. I was also alarmed at the rate at which the rain-fed crops failed in Zimbabwe. So we are really talking about a slow start emergency that could lead to a devastating long-term impact on lives and livelihoods, especially in rural Zimbabwe, if the necessary support is not provided. The government has laid out its needs. And we are very clear that while life-saving assistance is important to save lives now, but longer-term investment is critical. And as a result, investment in mitigation, recovery, and development will remain extremely critical. And it is important that we mobilize resources and we support the government's appeal to respond to the short-term needs while supporting the recovery efforts. As we say, we have to get people to cope with the impact of the drought, recover from it, and also engage in transformative change. This goes beyond immediate life support, which is critical, but also calls for longer-term investment. Thank you very much.